Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Double A Fantasy Football Podcast. AJ is here with me. Bob is absent. I think he actually said he was working at the Humane Society today, so he couldn't make it. So hats off to him. We appreciate everybody that's been here so far, listening up. Things are heating up for us. AJ, how's it going on your end? All the Nike you got sporting?
Hey, Nike, we're doing a good job. If you want to, we'll wear your stuff. You don't even have to give it. You want to sponsor us? Let us know. Otherwise, I'm good. I am good. We are less than 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
So we were going to continue our divisional previews, but then we realized we have drafts starting this weekend. So we are going to be doing a Superflex 2-quarterback league mock draft today. I believe last year that was our most popular podcast. Like,
Is it a super flex, though? Or is it just 2 QB?
usually, I mean,
Because I
technically
thought
it's 2 quarterbacks. So yeah,
okay,
Superflex you could put any spot,
that's what I thought.
any position. But yeah, I mean, I always call it Superflex. But yeah,
Yeah.
technically
Okay.
it is 2 quarterbacks. You start 2 quarterbacks. You don't have 2 flexes that also can hold a quarterback. But yeah, we're gonna be doing that mock today. And yeah, I'm excited. This is my actual. I am the commissioner of the league. Alan is the
Yep.
defending champion. I was in 3rd place last year. The podcast ruled that league last year. Let's just say, even if I didn't finish, even if we weren't in the championship together, it was like 1st and 3rd. I mean, come on.
We were
So
so hopeful to play each other in the championship. I'm glad we
yeah,
didn't because I would have been smacked by
yeah.
AJ's team. But
That happened to be in 2 different leagues where I ran into like the Joe Burrow T Higgins combo in the 2nd round and got destroyed. But it's a new year,
rough.
my friends.
a little bit of news here. Michael Thomas back with a hamstring injury. Hamstring injuries tend to be a nagging injury that don't go away very easily. So I am worried about this. Before we got on here, AJ was talking about his rankings between Michael Thomas and Chris Godwin, and that is a hard one to
Yeah,
pick between. I leaned Godwin more than Thomas, but I don't know. I
yeah,
just think it's hard
tough.
for us to pick. Speaking of Godwin, Brady is back with his teammates, building that chemistry. I don't know if he won the Masked Singer or not, but at least he's back with his team.
Do you
We will
think?
find out.
Do you think he's telling anybody on the team like what he was doing? Like even
No,
like maybe Mike Evans, because they got to be tight.
no.
Okay.
Mike Evans would be a good one to tell, but
Maybe
I was
Gio
thinking like
Bernard. I feel like he wouldn't tell anybody.
if Giovanni Bernard.
Giovanni.
If he told Gronk, Gronk would tell everybody. So
Oh, absolutely. You can't tell Gronk.
yeah, so he's not retiring so far.
Well, with that
And
said, let's talk about Brady just for a second.
please,
A lot of talk on where he should be ranked. For me, I have him at quarterback 8. He finished quarterback 3 last year. His entire interior line is basically gone. Both
yep.
guards and the center. The center, I think Jensen, he's out for. I mean, he could be out for like 2 months.
That's why I think I lean Godwin a little more because if he comes back and he's playing fine, it's going to be a lot of quick passes to that
Sure,
slant.
sure.
Worried about, we talked about Evans, you and I, about being worried about him because he needs that deep ball. I know he's going to be in the red zone fine, but he needs a deep ball. That's where he, is really relevant. I don't know. I'm a little worried about Fournette as well with
Yeah.
that line going down.
But what about Brady? Are we too low on him for being quarterback 3 last year?
I felt like we were. I personally was too low on him starting this until all this line news came up.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think he's like perfectly placed at that 8th spot. I think there's a lot of other people with better upsides.
Yeah. I think 8 is like the lowest you can put him, and anything above that, up to like even 3 if you feel that confident in him still. I mean, you can't really doubt him yet. He really has to fall off to pay off to the people who doubt him, but he's been doubted for 5 to 6 years at this point. Actually, probably
really long
longer.
time.
He's 45.
Somebody I think all of us are doubting, except for week 1 against the Browns, is Baker Mayfield. He is deemed the starter officially. It's him, nobody else. Kind of surprised it took this long, but we know Rule likes to play those games a little bit. It doesn't change our ranking, I think, of wide receivers, but do you think there is more of an upside with DJ Moore now? Maybe he'll get
Absolutely.
6 touchdowns.
As soon as they made that official, I bumped him from wide receiver 18 to 14. I just think he's going to get a lot of targets. You know, I just trust Baker. I've seen him healthy, like how he can throw.
And you made the good point that he really relies on his running backs when he needs to. So there's no problem with CMC. Obviously.
That's not going to change much at all, I wouldn't think. But yeah, I am confident in DJ Moore. But outside of that, in receiving there, not much else.
Well, let's jump to the draft then.
The draft.
Share my screen here for us all.
Let's pull it up. There we go. All right, so 10-team, 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and some bench. We're not going to do every single bench spot, but yeah, this is the draft.
It's very, very different.
Yeah, and there are bonuses for yardage, and all touchdowns are worth 6.
Speaking of drafts, so I have one. I have yours this weekend. And then I think I have next week on Tuesday, I have Brad's league with independent defensive players. And then I have the other 3, really 4 if we do the Megala Bowl together, all within the Labor Day weekend.
It's draft
My
season.
wife is going to be so mad at me.
It's draft season. Oh, well, before we start the draft, why don't we plug some socials?
Yeah, the TikTok, AA Fantasy Football. We're putting out stuff every day. Good advice. We'll argue with you in the comments if you'd like. The Twitters you can hit up. Mine is at FrostedBlakes44 and AJ's is AJ20K, but spell out the 20.
Correct. And of course,
is that all?
Don't forget the YouTube.
The YouTube.
Unbelievable.
Most important.
This is where you could see our faces on this podcast if you're listening to the audio.
I did my makeup, so.
Yes, same. Search AA Fantasy Football on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. We've been getting some subs, but that's it. That's where you can see the pod visually instead of just audio.
Let's do the damn thing.
All right, here we go.
I will pause whenever necessary, of course.
Turn that sound down.
Jeez, oh, that was terrible sounds.
Okay, so this would never happen like this.
What?
Justin Herbert goes first. Jonathan Taylor.
Do you want me to
second.
change those?
Yeah, I definitely would like you to change that.
Okay,
so.
I'll change this to Josh Allen.
Yeah. So I would assume that this is probably how it will look, honestly.
And then Lamar?
Well, I can make my own selection. Thank you.
No, for Patrick Mahomes. You want him to go there still?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would assume it's going to look like this. Some combination of Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Herbert, along with somebody that might want to take Jason. I keep calling him Jason.
Jason Aldean.
Jonathan Taylor. So I feel like that is going to leave me with Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes. Hopefully, if it's 3 straight quarterbacks and I'm at this pick, I would very likely take Jonathan Taylor. So if it's not one of these top 3, because again, we have yardage bonuses. So I want guys that are going to throw for a lot of yards as opposed to, like, I wouldn't reach for Lamar here, even though he's a great option with the rushing. But I'm going to take Justin Herbert because he's freaking awesome, and I would love for him to fall to me there.
You might know better. I think I got Justin Herbert in the 4th last year. I'm not positive.
Possibly.
Okay. I'm probably going to take Christian McCaffrey here.
So yeah, after I went with Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Cooper Kupp, Austin Eckler. So the first round isn't always like chock full of quarterbacks. A lot of the time we only have like 2 or 3 go, but in this mock, that's how it's going to go. So
I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey, secure up that running back 1 position for myself. Make sure it's set. On the turn, I'm going to have to take a quarterback if I can.
QBs
you guys went
flying.
McCaffrey, my pick, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray. Start the second round was Kelsey, Justin Jefferson, and then I'm going to take Jalen Hurts.
See,
so my quarterback.
I would have liked Dak there instead of Hurts just because of the yardage. I mean, Dak, I feel like is going to have multiple 400-yard games and very consistently having 300. I don't know if Hurts has that in him.
Yeah, I think with A.J. Brown, there's more of an upside, but Dak also is missing some weapons for a little bit. So we'll see. I get it too, though. I would have liked any of the other guys. Even Kyler would have been great, Joe Burrow, but it'll hurt us. After my pick with Jalen Hurts was Najee Harris, then Dak, then Mark Andrews, and back to AJ.
Oh man, imagine getting to choose between Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook in your second round. It's just crazy. um, I mean, I gotta go with Jamar Chase. I mean, I just have to. He's just 100+ yards, just waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And then my fear was what happened afterwards. All these running backs got taken: Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Stephon Diggs.
Your boys there.
On the turn, DeAndre Swift, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon. Who's my boy? There's a lot of guys.
Saquon.
Oh, I wasn't even looking at running back. Maybe I should. Yeah, Saquon. You know, we start 3 wide receivers, so I'm going to take Devontae Adams. I like
that.
Devontae quite a bit. I think he could still exceed 100 yards and 10 to 15 touchdowns under Derek Carr.
After Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Kyle Pitts, Aaron Rodgers, and back to me. What do you think about me taking Wilson or Stafford? Or should I wait?
I mean, it's always good to get your quarterbacks. They are flying off the board as we speak. So, you know, for me, this is like an ideal Brady spot, honestly, in this league format with the scoring the way it is. I think he'll have the most yards and the most touchdowns passing.
I'll trust you there then. I'm going to go with Tom Brady.
We're drafting together.
Yeah. He knows a whole lot more about 2 QBs since it's only my second time in the league. Following Brady was Barkley, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, then Mike Evans. Ooh,
that would have been a nice stack for you, Mike Evans.
It would have been, but I could stack AJ Brown.
You could stack AJ Brown. So right now, Alan is looking at Christian McCaffrey, Jalen Hurts, and Tom Brady. He's shored up his 2 quarterbacks. Does not have a wide receiver yet, though, or a tight end.
I do not. I could have waited, I guess, and tried to get somebody else down here, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna stack with AJ Brown. I'm okay with that, taking the chance on him. There's tons of talk about him in training camp, and he's done it in the past plenty of times whenever he's been healthy. So I need a wide receiver.
Okay, so after AJ Brown gets selected, James Conner, Javonte Williams, which would have been nice, Aaron Jones, and ironically, I was hoping he would last, and he did. I'm absolutely taking Alvin Kamara here. That is a steal if that could happen for me at that point, I believe.
Following AJ's pick with Kamara was Leonard Fournette, then Matt Stafford, then George Kittle. For the 5th round, Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, Ezekiel Elliott, and back to AJ.
Oh, this is a good one here.
I'm going to mainly show flex here on out since AJ and I both have our quarterbacks filled.
I only have one quarterback.
Oh,
I'm looking at my drafts board. You don't have to show the quarterbacks. It's okay. So, yeah, this is a point where you look at your draft board. Only one team has 2 quarterbacks right now, and that's Allen's team. I've got Russell Wilson, who's probably the last of the elite pass throwers. But then down here, we got Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. If you believe in Trevor Lawrence to take a leap, Mac Jones, even Jameis Winston or Ryan Tannehill. In a 2 quarterback league like this, you kind of have to look at quarterbacks differently, especially like guys that you wouldn't even think about in a regular 12 team or 10 team regular league without 2 quarterbacks. Like these guys down here are going to hold value. But man, I love Breece Hall this year. I think I'm going to take Russell Wilson. We have elite quarterbacks, and he's the last one. So I want to share that up with Justin Herbert.
Well, next went Breece Hall, your guy, then my guy, Pittman, who I wanted to get. Then Cam Akers. On the board now is people to look at: Darren Waller, Travis Etienne, Jalen Waddle, David Montgomery, DK Metcalf. I think I'm leaning wide receiver because I only have one and we need three. And DK has potential for really big plays,
Yep.
but I think I'm going to go with Mike Williams,
Ah,
especially for the bonuses. I
I,
think it's going to be a great pickup there.
I really wanted him to come back to me. It's the stack with
Sorry,
Herbert.
that would have been great. Fifth round here was my eighth pick with Mike Williams. Following him was David Montgomery, Travis Etienne. Next round in the sixth, McLaurin, Waddle, and my pick again. Ooh, DK is still
DK
there.
is still there.
I
For him
do
to be
like
your
that.
wide receiver 3 is not a bad thing at all.
I do not have a running back, but if you look deep,
Besides McCaffrey.
yes, sorry, besides McCaffrey, but he's so good, it's kind of like I can lean somewhere
Yeah,
else.
you can play the hero running back
Mm-hmm.
strategy, which is basically you take one of those elite level running backs and you lean on them to carry your running back spots points as a whole. And when Christian McCaffrey is on a full PPR basis, the guy is averaging like 29 points per game over the last 2 years, albeit, like 5-6 games that he's played.
My choices right now, I'm leaning DK Metcalf or J.K. Dobbins.
I'm surprised well, I'll let you make your pick. I will say after.
Darren Waller's there as well. Huh, huh, huh. Yeah, I'm going to go with J.K. Dobbins. I'm going to take the upside that he's healthy, that he's good to go, and there's no issues.
That's where I was going to go, actually.
Yeah.
You were talking about DK Metcalf, which went right after you, then Antonio Gibson, then Deontay Johnson. I can't believe you weren't talking about the guy that I'm going to take right now. You are like all over this guy this year, and that's Cortland Sutton. I'm going to pair him up with Russell Wilson as my wide receiver 3 to go along with Jamar Chase and Devontae Adams. That feels pretty good in a wide receiver scenario.
It should.
After that, Darren Waller, Brandon Cooks, DJ Moore to end the 6th, and then into the 7th, Elijah Mitchell, Dalton Schultz, and Trey Lance. So I probably should look for my second running back here, seeing as how I have Alvin Kamara. I'm almost kind of going with the hero strategy as well because I went wide receiver so early. But my boy's here, and I'm going to take him. A.J. Dillon, I think he has a few 100-yard games in his pocket as well as 10-plus touchdowns. The guy's going to be a beast. Quadzilla in the building.
I don't disagree. A.J. Dillon, then Chris Godwin, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Josh Jacobs, and back to me. T.J. Hawkinson. I don't know how I feel about that. I like it, and I'm kind of set. I need a wide receiver, but there's some guys down low I could go for. I'm leaning between that, Darnell Mooney, and Allen Robinson. Michael Thomas as well. That's just hard to take him.
Yeah. I mean, if you were in my position, I think, with Jamar Chase and Devontae Adams and then Sutton as your third, who not 100% certain, but those top two are pretty surefire things. I feel like I would be in a better position to take Michael Thomas than you with A.J. Brown and Mike Williams, because Mike Williams, you have the injury worry. He constantly gets hurt, and he's really boom or bust. And then A.J. Brown in a new situation. So is Devontae Adams, but I just don't think, Adams' situation is still pretty good with Derek Carr.
What do you think about Darnell Mooney here?
I love Darnell Mooney. You could expect some pretty big games from him, and there's really no target sharing competition with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I like it. I think he builds more chemistry this year with Justin Fields as well. Following Mooney, Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper. Then the next round, the 8th round, Derek Carr, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and back to me. Pretty certain I know who I'm going to take here. And that's going to be Allen Robinson.
Very nice.
I do like Gabe Davis, Drake London. Drake London's has that injury. I'm not too sure where he's going to be coming back. Yeah, I'm going to take Allen Robinson.
Robinson's a great pick. I would have taken him if you didn't. And after you did, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tony Pollard, Michael Thomas. So to me, here I am looking for a flex or a tight end. Not really in love with the tight ends right now. It's basically the last of, I guess, almost guaranteed production with
Yeah.
Hawkinson, Goddard, and Ertz. Uh, but Gabe Davis, another absolute huge
He's a
year
boomer.
coming, I think. So I'm taking Gabe Davis as my flex, followed up by Rashad Bateman, Kirk Cousins, which is like, I mean, look how far Kirk Cousins fell in this draft. He's like a
Yeah.
perfect quarterback for this draft. And then to finish the 8th round, Ken Walker, not the
Thank you.
third. It's just Ken Walker. And then somebody who I really think would be interesting if you waited on that second quarterback starts the 9th round, and that's Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just in position to succeed with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, Cedric Wilson, all the running
Last year,
backs.
that's the strategy I have was to get one early and then to wait. And I was actually scrambling because my second quarterback went down. Or just really, I forget who I
You
had
had
though.
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick went
Yeah.
down. Waited too late on that one. But there's
I
so many
mean,
guys here that I could change out even Darnell Mooney for any of these guys, and I'd feel good about it. Trey Lance,
mhm.
Cousins, to Carr, I'm a little less on. I don't think he gets many of those bonus points,
He
but he'd
did.
be
He had a lot of.
consistent.
He had like 400-yard games last year, so he was
Really,
doing it. Yeah, and then there's guys even lower. Trevor Lawrence could really make a leap this
did
year.
for 100-yard games or for 400?
He had multiple 400-yard games last
Gotcha.
year.
Okay.
I mean, he definitely is good for this league. But you still got Fields, Lawrence, Matt Ryan, Mac Jones, Jameis Winston. Like those guys launch the ball, or at least some of them do. After Tua goes Juju Smith-Schuster, then Devonta Smith. For me, right now my whole starting lineup besides tight end is filled. I have Justin
Yeah.
Herbert, Russell Wilson at quarterback, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, and Cortland Sutton as my starting receivers. Alvin Kamara, AJ Dillon at running back, and Gabe Davis. A lot of these guys are guys that I like, so I'm happy with how this is turning out so far. Sometimes guys fall to you that you aren't necessarily looking for, but you also don't hate. A lot of my guys are guys that I actually want and I'm trying to get. So I'm happy about that. Like I didn't fall into any Miles Sanders or Antonio Gibson or
Right. Right. You're not
Um,
forced into it.
TJ Hawkinson is still here. Uh, should have my rankings pulled up.
Some of the running backs available because you only have two, which is still okay. I also only have two. Miles Sanders, Damian Harris, Kareem Hunt, Cordero Patterson, Devin Singletary, and Rashad Penny. Big wide receivers: Drake London, DeAndre Hopkins, Hunter Renfrow, Thielen, and Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore, other than Drake London, is probably the juiciest there.
Thielen's pretty good too, just for the touchdown upside.
Yeah.
Alan Lazard as well. Yeah, I'm gonna take Drake London. I've been praising his abilities this year. He's more of a PPR guy, but that's still not gonna hurt. That's still not gonna hurt when I fill in for wide receiver because he's a bench receiver for me.
I was going to take Hawkinson. He went right before me, but after Drake London was Matt Ryan, then Trevor Lawrence, then TJ Hawkinson, and back to me. I really did want him.
You've been on Goddard. I don't think there's too much of a difference.
Yeah,
there.
but you know how I am. I'm not going to want to
Hawkinson...
take Hurts, Brown, and Goddard.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Would you?
They can't
You'd be perfectly fine with it.
He finished. Take away the names, okay? Let's just pretend that their names are not there. AJ Brown finishes as wide receiver 15. Goddard finishes tight end 8. I don't know. I'm not afraid of that at all.
Okay.
I'm not saying I would grab him right now. I mean, like later on, I have Russell Wilson and Cortland Sutton. I will not be afraid to get Alberto later at all.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Kareem Hunt.
Ooh, is he even going to play? Who knows?
Don't say that as I'm about to pick him.
I'm just saying it is a thought. Like he's sitting out. He hasn't played preseason. He's still requesting a trade.
I know.
Who knows?
But if he goes anywhere,
or if he plays in general.
True. Kareem Hunt, then Dallas Goedert, then Miles Sanders. Next round in the 10th, Damian Harris, Justin Fields.
Like, look how far Justin Fields came down here. I don't expect him to be throwing for 300 plus yards for those bonuses, but he's going to make up for it with rushing. Like, this would be a fine second guy.
I'm not too worried about my tight end, I guess, if I'm not going to be for a little while.
So Allen's roster right now, Christian at quarterbacks, he's got Jalen Hurts, Tom Brady. Running back, Christian McCaffrey and J.K. Dobbins with Kareem Hunt on the bench. At wide receivers, got A.J. Brown, Mike Williams, Darnell Mooney, and Allen Robinson, former teammates. Also now teammates on your team.
Yeah, then Kareem Hunt, who I just picked.
Yeah, I said I had him on the bench.
Oh, okay. I like Zach Ertz. I just don't know if I want to use that instead of somebody like Elijah Moore or even Treylon Burks.
Trelone. I mean, at this point, I feel like DeAndre Hopkins would be a perfectly fine pick. I know he's going to miss 6 games, but like, this is the 10th round.
Is there an IR spot in your league?
There is.
Would he be able to be put in that since he's suspended?
Know. That's a good question.
Okay.
I think he would. Yahoo's pretty lenient with that.
Okay. I'll take Hopkins there. I'm going to be waiting, but I have 4 wide receivers. You are, but I have 4 wide receivers that I can wait on that.
Right. That's why I said it was a good thing. I mean, I have 5, and I still would have thought about taking him there. I am not going to take him, though, because you did.
That's a good reason.
Maybe I still will. I could have these picks changed or something.
DeAndre Hopkins was on my team, then Mac Jones, followed by Elijah Moore and Treylon Burks.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here with 2 running backs. There are some valuable running backs here. In particular, might be a little bit of a reach, but I'm not worried about it because I love him. So Romandre Stevenson, right back there. First running back off the bench for me, might be in my flex on a regular basis. I would have really liked for Penny to come back to me or Singletary, honestly. But nonetheless,
they did not.
After me went Adam Thielen, Hunter Renfrow, Zach Ertz. Look at that. 3 straight white guys. Then Devin Singletary to start the 11th, Dawson Knox, and then Rashad Penny, 3rd pick of the 11th. So, yeah, let's look at this. Again, running back, it's pretty much dissipating into nothingness now. I do feel like Cordero Patterson is getting way too much of a raw deal to like everybody. They're just acting like he's not going to be the guy regularly carrying the ball for at least the first half of the season, if not pretty much the whole season. I think he could have a strong 8-9 games out of the gate. But
I don't know if I'd say half the season's out of the gate.
Yeah, out of the gate would be from week 1. That's out of the gate.
Yeah. So but he's like halfway through. He's halfway through the amusement park by week 8 or 9.
Okay. I meant he's going to be getting the main workload out of the gate week 1 for half the season at least.
Gotcha. Off to the races.
Yes, that is. Yeah. I also like Chase Edmonds in full PPR. So I'm going to go with upside here. I really love what Ayuk is doing. I believed in him last year. Ooh. I think I was a year early. I also don't think Chris Olave is getting enough love. I think he's going to have a tremendous year, but no, go ahead. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm going to take Brandon Ayuk as a flyer, like an upside thing. And look, Cordero Patterson went right after me as I talked him up.
He did, followed by Freiermuth and then Allen Lazard.
So Allen is left. Still no tight end.
Yeah. You didn't get one yet either, have you?
No. I don't fear the tight end. I am the tight end.
Man. So this part of the draft is obviously like you're looking for upside in somebody. You're looking for somebody to take over a role.
This is where you
lean in.
This is where you ignore ADP and you take the guys that you believe in. Like at this point of the draft, your last three or so rounds.
Don't know how people don't believe in it yet, but I'm going to take Chase Edmonds here. I think in that offense, he's going to do some crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
I like the pick. I agree, though. If it was full PPR, he'd be going 2-3 rounds earlier.
I thought about doing the exact same thing at my Ayuk pick, so I like that pick.
Yeah. Chase Edmonds, then Tyler Lockett, then Gesicki. Round 12, James Cook, Melvin Gordon, who I did want to try to get Melvin Gordon
I
next.
thought about taking him as well.
But I can't, unfortunately.
Oh, you could just flip it around, if you want to.
Just steal people off of
Yeah, sure.
teams.
You're running it.
Oh, man, I don't know what to do now.
That's always good advice.
Yeah. There's just so many ways you can go at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about the tight end that much.
Right.
But if I don't take a tight end, they're probably not going to get back to me. So I think I'm going to. This will not complete AJ's full my guy team that he is. I'm going to take
Unbelievable.
Albert O.
Unbelievable.
With Tim Patrick being down, I really think that helps his upside a lot.
How rude. I actually feel like Jerry Jeudy kind of fills the in-between role for Tim Patrick's purposes. Albert O's he's like a downfield seam runner, so he might be getting a lot of deep balls.
I just kind of mean the difference as far as the target share, I guess.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
They're leaving so many open now.
Yeah, after they can't all go deep, right?
Right.
Somebody's got to stay back.
Chris Olave, Christian Kirk, Garrett Wilson. Christian Kirk, kind of forgot about him again.
We shouldn't. He has been climbing up my board every day because we are forgetting about him. I think I have him wide receiver, and I'm probably too low. I have him wide receiver 39, 96th overall, and honestly, I could bump him up. I don't know. By next week, he'll probably be close to the top 30, which makes him a wide receiver 3.
Trevor Lawrence looked good in these preseason
and
games.
He threw a lot to Kirk last game. I think 5 of his first 8 targets went to Kirk. So it's like,
yeah.
I'm going to take another upside guy. We've talked about him, Dameon Pierce. He's going to take over that backfield. Maybe not right away. I don't need him to right away. It's not a good offense. It's not a good offensive line. But we've seen running backs take huge games with yardage, and I don't think the touchdowns will be there, but again, you get a bonus for yardage, so I could see him popping off for some big games in the second half of the season.
I would have, in your spot, taken Cole Kmet, who went right after you.
Yeah.
And then Robert Woods, Chase Claypool. And then for the 13th round, starting it off, is Russell Gage, Sky Moore, Michael Carter, and then we have 2 picks left.
Yeah, at this rate, and we forgot to say it. Well, you know what? I'll save that for the next pick. I'll go over what I was going to discuss. In this league, you need a third quarterback in case one of yours go down.
Right.
With the guys left,
I'll be honest. I think a lot of these guys would be gone.
I don't. Yeah, probably.
People really take that third quarterback in your league.
Right. Well, because they get hurt every year. I mean, it's a big injury bug. So I'm going to rock Jameis. I'm all about Jameis. So he's a yardage monster when he's back under center.
Following Jameis is Isaiah Spiller, Kadarius Toney. That's what I was going to try to grab. Tyler Boyd, and then back to me. The quarterbacks I have left right now, not really leaning anybody.
There's plenty.
There are, and it's not really... It would change if they were taken earlier. It'd be a different outlook, but we're not there right now. I don't have... Like, the top... That's the thing with the ADP. Like, the top names, nobody's, like, standing out. Like, of course, Alexander Madison, like, that'd be a great handcuff to have. But I'm not really thinking that. I want a guy that's going to do something for me. So I'm actually going to go with James Robinson here. I think he is still that lead back. As far as wide receivers, there's MVS, Michael Gallup, Jarvis Landry, Christian Watson, Rondale Moore, even Jamison Williams is there. All good people to try to take a chance on.
Something we should have added in the news also reminds me of James Robinson. The quote that he's ready for week 1 has been blown way out of proportion. He has not been cleared for week 1 yet. So...
Oh, okay.
Week 1
I'm
would
not
be.
Going to take him.
That doesn't mean he won't be ready for week 2 at this rate. But I just wanted to let people know. I forgot, when we were going to discuss the news. That has not been confirmed yet.
I'm going to take 2 straight upside guys. I'm going to take Tyler Algier.
Okay.
Hopefully, I can get him in there after Cordero starts to go down. Then Madison, MVS went, Rashad White, Hunter Henry. My next pick here, I'm taking a big flyer and Jamison Williams.
Wow. I thought you were going to take uh, George Pickens.
I know he is lighting stuff up right now.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be really good.
So after Jamison Williams in the final round, at least in this draft, I think we have 2 or 3 more. Actually, 3. Actually, I think we have like 18 rounds. So we cut this one pretty short. But we do have a defensive, an IDP spot.
So we would have like
kicker.
2 more actual picks.
No,
like
we
players.
would have. No, we would have. I think we have 1 or 2 more bench spots plus an IDP, a defense, and a kicker.
Okay.
So it is
So
like
5,
18 or 19 rounds.
But 2 offensive players.
Yes, we would have.
Yeah.
2 more bench spots.
If this was the real draft as well, like we kind of said, I would have taken one of the quarterbacks earlier on.
So would everyone
Probably
else.
Zach Wilson. Yeah. So we would have been forced into that differently.
Yeah. So at this rate, I would be probably streaming tight end, which is fine with me. I mean, a guy I like a lot is still there, Logan Thomas. He just got cleared. He's probably going to be ready to start the year. I mean, even Noah Fant or Higbee or Njoku has a ton of upside, I think, this year, especially just scoring touchdowns. But there's a lot of guys I like here left. I like Pickens a lot. I like Jahan Dotson at receiver.
Yeah, I was looking at Dotson as well.
These are a bunch of upside swings. Romeo Dubs. We're still not sure how to pronounce it. I don't think anybody's ever going to know. Isaiah McKenzie's been getting so much love lately. He's going to be very likely the starting slot in that high-scoring Buffalo offense. I thought it was funny that you picked Tyler Algier. I've cooled off way on him. Their offense is not going to be good. He is a power back. He'll get the ball at the goal line probably. I mean, not a lot, but in most formations, power formations, he's going to get the ball. But their offense is going to be bad. I don't think they're going to have that many goal line opportunities. So a guy that I love climbing the charts, probably going to score some touchdowns this year. Brian Robinson. That's who I'm going to take as soon as it's unpaused.
Allow me to do that for you.
He had the first 3 carries of Washington's last preseason game. It just seems like he's going to be included in early. It might be a little overstated how bad Antonio Gibson's situation is right now.
It definitely is.
But at the same time, he's getting early down work, and he's way bigger to get the ball at the goal line. So if Gibson keeps fumbling, Brian Robinson's already going to be involved, I believe.
They said that Gibson is put on special teams because they put the best players where they need to be. I just feel like
it's a big coach speak answer right there.
It is, but there's also the idea of like you don't put somebody who fumbles a lot on special teams to return it. Like he's not the return man they have there, is he?
No.
Okay.
He's just pursuit
because they fumble.
Blocking.
They fumble quite a bit.
Yeah. So let's break down these teams that we assembled. Alan, why don't you go first with your team at the 8th pick, 10-team, 2-quarterback league?
Yeah, I went with Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady. Jalen Hurts for the rushing upside. Brady, as AJ kind of described, has the capability to hit those bonuses to get above the 300 and 400 threshold if he needs to. He might, that's kind of where I think I would change things, is maybe not going Brady and waiting just entirely. I streamed a quarterback all last year. We could always try something like that again. But with his line being a little worse, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get Christian McCaffrey, then J.K. Dobbins, which I love those two. They're both explosive players.
I like
in
Dobbins a ton this year.
Yeah. And to stack with Jalen Hurts, I have A.J. Brown, which I love. Mike Williams is the big play guy, getting downfield, 100-yard touchdowns. Darlin. I'm calling him that from now on. Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson are my 2 last pieces for wide receiver and in my flex. But with Hopkins there, it's going to be tough to choose between those 3 if they're producing the way I'm expecting, with Albert O there at tight end.
Yeah, I mean, for DeAndre Hopkins to become your wide receiver 3 after by week 7, that's actually pretty crazy.
I felt like that's where I'd want him to, because I personally don't have a big upside where he's going to be catching for 100 yards and a touchdown. I think he's going to be more like 60 to 80 yards and a touchdown. I think he's going to be the big red zone threat, lots of catches. Kareem Hunt, Chase Edmonds, and Tyler Algier as my bench running backs with, I think, the upside for like Kareem and Chase Edmonds kind of have the same outlook for me. You don't know what's going to happen with Hunt, but we'll figure that out. And then Jamison Williams for a sleeper second half of the year. So Hopkins and Jameson, I'm going to be waiting on for a while.
Yeah. Well,
I'm okay with that.
Let us know in the comments. Give us like a out of 10 what kind of score you would give Allen's team. What would you give yourself with that team if you need to go back to it?
I mean, I feel like it'd have to be a 10. Like 10 out of 10. What there's almost nothing wrong with it.
We got to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah, it's hard not to be.
I respect the
honesty,
the confidence.
Yeah,
over honesty.
Again, I think I could wait on Brady. That's it. That's really the only other piece. Maybe take
if you want critiques on the team. I love Mike Williams, but he does scare me. The big boom or bust material that he goes with, along with the injury history. But I love him as like he could be a top 5 receiver or he could just be a top 20 and he only gives you like half a year of big points because
I'm following the money.
That's what he's pick. Absolutely. I like that. Dobbins, I absolutely love. I don't think he's going to have a problem staying healthy. I think he's going to be great. Mooney's upside is good. I just hope he didn't hit his cap last year. That's my only thought with him.
That's why I wanted to go with Robinson next, just because of that, to play it safe. I think I'd say maybe a 7 out of 10 if I'm being honest, because I'd probably change this up. Oh, can I get out of that? And go.
Should have taken Barkley, I guess.
Yeah, forcing him onto my team. I probably would let Brady go here and try to take one of these 3 big names in CD, Tyreek, or Evans.
CD Lamb would have been a really nice pick for you there. And then you could have gone with Stafford instead of Brown or Russell Wilson or something.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. Just trading off one of those. And then probably keep it the same the rest of the way. If I were to get Russell Wilson, maybe Judy here.
And then the only problem with the bench is a lot of waiting and uncertainty.
Yes.
Kareem Hunt, we don't even have any idea. And I'm a Browns fan. I have no idea what is going on with that guy. Hopkins, you're waiting 6 weeks, and then what's it going to look like when he comes back? I love DeAndre Hopkins. I actually think he is definitely capable of 100-plus yard games. But yeah.
There's a lot, like with Hunt, there's a lot of talk right now for him to go to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And they are interested in him. I mean, if he does, he would light it up. I think Hunt is in the mind frame.
Crazy.
I think he's in the mind frame of like, I'm losing my talent as I get older. I got to go somewhere. I got to do something. And we have to wait 11 games for Deshaun Watson to be playoff relevant.
I played somebody in Madden and he was there and I thought it was like a great fit. I can't remember who it was though. Oh, the Rams. I was like, whoa, that would be pretty crazy. But
yes.
Okay, so my team starts out with Justin Herbert and Russell Wilson. By the way, this 4th spot, it feels really good for this type of draft this year. A lot of good options. Justin Herbert and Russell Wilson at quarterback. A little bit of hero ball with the running back position, but I went wide receiver so early, back to back, so I loaded up on that spot.
Oh, you're saying hero ball on
with
Kamara.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be carrying the load at running back for me. But again, if A.J. Dillon lives up to the potential I believe him to have, I expect to see 60 to 80 yards on the ground and a touchdown most games, honestly, out of, you know what I mean? So he'll be providing touchdowns. Kamara will be providing everything else. My receivers are pretty stacked. Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Cortland Sutton. Was really happy to pair up Sutton with Russell Wilson there. He's got tremendous upside. I know you love him. A lot of people are he's actually more volatile than I thought. There's a lot of like, he could be a top 5 or he could be trash. And we had the discussion too about
I'm
him.
all in on him and Judy at this point.
Yeah.
Like if you get him at their ADP, I'm perfectly fine with it. Even if you have to reach just a little. with, again, Tim Patrick out, like
Mm-hmm.
we've seen Russell Wilson make Lockett and DK Metcalf both completely fantasy relevant every year he's had them.
Top 15, top 20 receivers.
And then we broke it down before that with Doug Baldwin. Like, it's not like he doesn't know how to spread it around.
So in that scenario, and I've said this before, but Cortland Sutton is the Lockett and Judy is the Metcalf. Judy is short. What?
Well, Metcalf cannot run the routes that I think Judy can.
I just meant I
know. I just think it's funny because that's what DK gets the hate on is his route running.
Their roles in the offense. Lockett was always the deep guy, which is funny with their physical builds between Metcalf and Lockett. But Sutton is a tall, fast receiver who has done most of his damage downfield with deep passes. Judy runs great routes. He's going to be doing short, medium, and long balls. So yeah, that's kind of how you can look at it that way. My flex is Gabe Davis. He's the hot button guy he should explode this year. Buffalo's freed up 184 targets between Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders last year. They're not all going to Gabe Davis, but I bet a lot more of them from last year are. He was top 5 in red zone targets last year, Gabe Davis, and he didn't even start.
Sanders was supposed to be the red zone guy, and he wasn't because Davis was taking it over. And imagine him gone with Davis there. Like it's not.
Yeah, I
don't know if there's any question.
If Sutton somehow flounders, I feel like Davis and Sutton are not both going to. So at worst, he's my third receiver, or at worst, he's my flex, and Sutton, vice versa. That tight end spot's going to really produce a lot of points. I didn't take a tight end. I would stream if this went down, but I probably would have taken a tight end earlier in a real draft. But I also have stream tight end, so I'm not concerned with that. Drake London, he's way more of a PPR guy. That Atlanta offense isn't going to score much, but I think he's going to be a huge part of it. He's going to see close to. I don't know what kind of target share. I mean, he's going to see at least 70 to 80 catches this year, I would say, maybe more. He's a big target, and the biggest complaint on Drake London is that he doesn't get enough separation. He's shown plenty of that in the preseason and in training camps. And even if he doesn't, he jumps over people and catches it anyway. So it doesn't really matter if he's getting separation.
Well, in his injury thing, it says right here, he took his first target, 24-yard gain, and then suffered a knee injury in the process.
Yeah.
That knee injury could be as little as it hurt. And they're like, well, he's our star rookie.
Right.
Like, we're not going to chance it. He's the only other option besides Pitts to really rely on.
Yeah. And if you guys are looking at the screen, you can even see it says Coach Arthur Smith said he isn't worried about it being a long-term issue. So they're probably just playing it safe there. Romandre Stevenson, I love his upside. Last year, he showed us so much. I think there was a stat I heard the other day about Romandre, and it put him in like elite company with the few amount of touches, but on the ground and in the air. It was basically similar to like Kareem Hunt is what they called him. And this is Kareem Hunt, like top 20 running back Kareem Hunt. So if he takes the steering wheel in that backfield and he's the guy, which I think he will.
Yeah,
I mean, sky's the limit for him. Brandon Ayuk's a total upside shot. He's shown so much chemistry with Trey Lance in the deep ball, and if that's who he targets downfield, and they use Debo. Also, at the end of last year, I think the last 6 games he averaged 15 points per game in fantasy with Garoppolo.
Very relevant.
He was awesome at the end of last year, and Debo was still doing well. I think that's part of why they put Debo in the backfield and had him running the ball so much, just so that they could use Ayuk in the downfield way. Dameon Pierce, a rookie running back. I think he's going to win the job. Bad offense, but maybe he takes off. Jameis Winston's just there for security as my third quarterback for injury and bye weeks. And then Brian Robinson, as we've seen lately, he's kind of really taking a role in the offense on early down work and goal line work for Washington. So I think their offense will be okay.
Even if it's a committee there, I think he's going to be producing.
And it's a guy you could
enough.
like throw into your lineup if you have to and be like, well, maybe he'll fall in the end zone. I'll be okay.
Right.
So that's my team.
Yeah. What would you rate
this
your team?
I like this team a lot. If I walked
This is
away,
all AJ's my guy team basically.
a lot of them, yeah. I mean, has always been my guy since day one last year. I mean, if I had a tight end, I'd say a 10 out of 10. No, I think it's like an 8 or 9. I really like this team a lot, actually. I think there's a lot of safety and upside throughout.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just the running backs is the scary part for me. That's all for you.
Yeah, but it doesn't scare me because I think Kamara's awesome, and either Dylan or Romandre I think can fill an RB2 spot.
Yeah,
So
I agree with
just
that.
the wide receiver dominance I feel like is just as a whole the whole starting lineup. I'm gonna get enough from tight end to cover for my RB2 spot. Or from receiver, not tight end. I'm getting 0 from tight end.
Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do about that. That's the thing too with like the top, maybe from Schultz and higher, you could maybe get that like 100-yard game out of them to give you some bonus points.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah,
after
I
that,
mean,
it's tough.
speaking of that, I could go back into the draft and see like where maybe I should have grabbed a tight end. Like instead of Drake London, maybe I could have got Hawkinson. Or instead of Romandre, I should have gotten Ertz, but I just wouldn't do that. I like Romandre more than Ertz. And then I guess Ayuk probably could have been my, I'm pretty loaded at wide receiver when I grabbed Ayuk in the 11th. If Freiermuth was there, which he was, that maybe would have been what I'd done in a real draft situation. But I just got caught up on my upside guys that I like.
Caught up. Isn't that an Usher song?
And that's it. 2 quarterback draft. We got this on Sunday. Sunday night, I believe. So yeah, we'll let you guys know how our teams turned out. If you go on to the TikTok, I'm sure we will.
I was gonna say, if you follow the TikTok, we're gonna post them so you guys can rate them. Let us know what we think.
Roast us.
I'm nervous
for the draft.
Yeah.
Can't be nervous. It's the best part. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's a good nervous. I'm not going to like pee myself, but I'm going to like shake a little bit.
We'll see about that. All right. That's it, everybody. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, comment, like. On Twitter, follow us. They'll be below in the description. Whether you're listening to this on the audio or on YouTube, it'll be in the description. Alan, take us home.
AA Fantasy Football.